feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright. Echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Great to be back on this, what is the day after Christmas, or multiple days after Christmas, depending on where you are in the world. The other channel is talking about John Benet Ramsey. I couldn't think of a more boring case in my life, so I am actually going to come talk to you about breaking news, true crime going on. We have more updates about Jason Kenney and his wife Crystal. I brought you that story yesterday, but in the 24 hours since I haven't been on, there's been more information come out about what happened in Florida. This story, when I brought it to you yesterday, hadn't made sort of the national news yet. Sort of what this channel is known for, picking stories before they become a national story. And now overnight, it is on every front page of a lot of different papers, including on the Daily Mail now. They've got it. They had it on the front page this morning. And I've got a bit more information about what the life was like for Crystal Kenney before she was killed by her husband, Jason, and what exactly is going to happen with the poor children that have been left orphaned by this man's really selfish act on, taking his wife's life and then shooting one of their children too. He is well, he's not here anymore with us, but he was a disgusting man, took the coward's way out. And I'm going to tell you more about it tonight because I think it's very important that we sort of highlight it a bit more and talk about it. So you saw what I put in the thumbnail. Anyway, look at this. So this is a photo. It looks like anyone else's sort of Christmas, right? Sort of looks like the Christmas that we all expect. We all sort of have. It's full of presents and trees and lovely ornaments and stuff like that. It looks like any other happy family in the world. And that is one of the things that they were talking about in the press conference. The officers who had to respond to this crime were saying it was very difficult for them leading up to Christmas to have to go to a house where it's all decorated like this, looks very beautiful. It looks like, the quintessential nuclear family. And they were saying so hard for them to walk into that house and find, the aftermath of what Jason Kenney did. I can't imagine what that would have to be like to be an officer who did that, really. I think, a lot of them have children, a lot of them have families of their own, and to have to go on that scene a few days before Christmas is horrific. There's another photo of them. We use this one for the thumbnail. They look like any other couple, but sometimes these photos hide a darker truth. And the darker truth has now come out. Family and friends knew of Jason's DV against Crystal. And apparently, when the officers were investigating what had gone down at this home, they very quickly got told stories about Crystal being beaten up. She'd had bruising. She'd been injured and taken to hospital before. So there was a story behind there of DV, basically. Now, what set them off at this football game? So he was watching the football. Now, the original story that came out was he was watching the football, watching the 49ers. By the way, all 49ers everywhere, all 49er fans, me included, we disown this guy as one of our fans. He is not a 49er fan. He's just a guy. We don't own him. We don't claim him. Niners fans around the world are like, no, thank you. We don't want him. And the original story was that they fought over the game being on the television, but I have information that says that is not the full story. And the full story was this, that Crystal had gone to church. And during this church, she went off to church, listened to the sermon, talked to the congregation. She had been dealing with some alcohol and drug issues with Jason, and they urged her to go home and talk to her husband and ask him to come back to church and seek help for his problems. She had this conversation with him, and that is what set off the larger events surrounding him killing her and then him using the firearm on himself plus one of the children as well. So it sounded very good for a headline that it was a guy watching a football game kills his wife because she wants him to change a channel, but that's not the real sort of crux of it. They were already fighting, and yeah, apparently this guy had been sneaking away, drinking a lot, using narcotics, and sort of yeah, becoming a problem in the marriage, really. That's sort of the crux of the issue here. So he was already self-destructing, and it's like his wife, Crystal, even though she had had DV issues with him in the past, she was very much trying to fix her marriage. She was trying to clean him up a little bit, and he pushed back on that. So really, really horrible. I think the other thing, like we said last night, a miracle that the 13-year-old daughter, who was shot twice, once in the shoulder and once in the face, survived. Listen to this. The 13-year-old said, I begged him, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me. And he shot me anyway. Isn't that awful? That she had to beg for her life, this 13-year-old girl, and then he fired on her anyway, decided to open fire and almost kill her. She survived. The bullet narrowly missing her brain went up through her skull. Actually, it hit the top of her nose, the bridge of her nose, bounced off and went through the top of her skull. And somehow it missed her vital organ, which is her brain. And she's actually okay, but will be in hospital for a period of time. Yeah, the bullet struck the girl on the bridge of the nose, traveled upward, and exited through the top of her head. The girl remains in hospital in critical condition, but stable condition, alert, and is able to speak. So that is a miracle. The sad thing here, though, is Crystal Kenney's family is a sort of blended family. There's some children who were born to another father, and then there's some children who were born to Jason. So now that Jason and Crystal are both not here anymore, they're both dead, the authorities are saying, well, it's most likely that they're going to be separated. Most likely, the grandparents to the children from Crystal and Jason will take on the children. And then the other children, which are the older ones, the 13-year-old, and I think, I'm not sure how old the other one is, but there's another older child. Those ones may go to California because they have a paternal father who lives in California. So it's possible he will head those two children will go to Cali, and then the other youngest one, the baby, will stay with the grandparents in Florida. So no matter how you cut this, that act shortly before Christmas has annihilated this family. They will never be the same, and it's a possibility these children will forever be separated and will not be together ever again. It is really, really sad. Really, really sad. Yeah, they've been through enough, but it sounds like their sort of pain and suffering will continue. Yeah, they will be shipped off possibly to the other side of the country to a state that they've never known, which is California, and then the other ones will stay in Florida. I think that's almost as bad as the crime itself, right? They're so used to being this family unit that you see in this photo. And now that Crystal's gone, Jason's gone, the children remain, but they'll be split up. So that is very, very sad. I think that's horrible. Danny said, "I hope the paternal father is a father or dad." So, what they were saying in the new press conference was the father in California has never been in the children's lives, never. So Crystal gave birth to them, but he's never been involved with them. But under the law, he has the first sort of right to the children because he is their paternal father, and they will try and see if he will take on his own children. So we'll see what happens with that. And yeah, it is awful because he may take them, but it may not be children that he ever really wanted. It may be children that he never planned to have in his life at all. And after this act from Jason Kenney, he's now going to have to change his life very much as well. Doesn't speak to him being a very good guy, the fact that he's never met his children and the fact that he didn't want anything to do with them. But that's the law. The law is that he has to be given sort of notified of what has happened to his children, and if he wants them to come live with him, that's his legal right. Muffin, please go away, sir. We're trying to do a show. Muffin wants to come sleep on my lap, and I'm like, no. Rachel says just devastating for them. I agree. So I wanted to talk to you about it tonight because while we had some information yesterday, it's sort of like more information is leaked out overnight. Pretty awful. Yeah, Jason had been drinking while watching the San Francisco 49ers, and apparently they had a shed behind the house. They then returned inside for the final few minutes of the game. Crystal challenged him over the control of the television, and an argument suddenly escalated. But I believe that they were already sort of in a argument before this about his drinking and his narcotics use. So they were already in a bad way together. They weren't sort of getting along. And yeah, some of the information from the family was that they had known for a period of time that he was hurting Crystal and that it's not a shock to them that he hurt her. And I find that very sad that no one did anything before this to try and help Crystal or the children. Gail said they don't know him. Do they have grandparents? I don't know. I don't know. The only information that I have is that they have a father in California. There are grandparents in Florida. The children are currently staying with the grandparents, but it is possible that two of them will go to California at some point. I think they're still trying to work it out. According to Grady Judd, CPS or whatever it is in Florida, the child agency, they currently have custody of the children, and while they are staying with the grandparents, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, here. All three children are now in the custody of their maternal grandparents. Sorry, it is Crystal's parents. They're currently with them. But it is true that two of the older children do have a father out in California, and they have to see what his legal rights are and whether he wants to be involved or not, whether he relinquishes the rights to the children. Don't know. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Really horrific story. Yeah, they're talking about here. During a search of the family home, deputies uncovered a handwritten note Crystal had written to her husband urging him to seek help. You're drinking, you're using cocaine again. This is not the way the family should be. You need God. There you go. That was one of the notes they found inside the house that Crystal had written to Jason, her imploring him to get back to the church and to stop drinking so much and stop using narcotics. So, uh really, really sad case. I feel like they're every time after Christmas, we think it's all okay, and then the stories start coming out of the woodwork. And I have a few of them, including a woman who was attacked at a post-Christmas sale. So I'm going to bring that up here if I can find it for you. Let's find it. Yeah, this poor woman attacked. And then we have another one about a woman from Salt Lake City who has run away with her children against the advice of the court. So we're going to talk about that too. Yeah, we're going to stay in Florida for this one. It's in Putnam County. We've been out to Putnam County before. Yeah. So, did you ever believe that a Dollar General might be a dangerous place? I believe Dollar Generals might be a dangerous place. I'm going to show you something and take you out to this thing here. No, this is not the right one. Good work, Ping. Good work. Yeah, Cheyenne. So her name is Cheyenne Castens. She was 36. She was killed last month in a random attack outside a Dollar General. So I don't know. Here, I'm going to take you out to the news and then we'll catch up on it. Putnam County. Yeah.
And right now at 5 on this Monday, new charges for the man Putnam County Sheriff's Office authorities say attacked and stabbed a woman to death Friday night. Thank you for joining us on this Monday. I'm Anthony Austin.
And I'm Heather Crawford. So this happened Friday at the Dollar General in Fruitland. And after a 24-hour manhunt, authorities say they arrested 54-year-old Lamar Beasley. Our Billiana Garland joins us now to break down the charges and also reaction from the victim's family and friends. Such a tragic story.
Heather and Anthony, I did talk with the victim's family and friends, and the Putnam County Sheriff's Office says the suspect is a convicted registered sex offender with an extensive criminal history going back to the 1990s. He got out of prison last July, and now he faces a first-degree premeditated murder charge. I talked to the family and friends of the victim, who the Sheriff's Office identifies as 36-year-old Cheyenne Castens.
I can't believe that I'll never hear her voice again. It's just not real. It doesn't feel real.
On Friday, November 14th, Stephanie Niles lost one of her closest friends, 36-year-old Cheyenne Castens.
I actually met Cheyenne when we were around 10 years old. We were friends from that day on. She was my best friend. She was like my sister.
The Putnam County Sheriff's Office explains the suspect, 54-year-old Lamar Beasley, and the victim, Cheyenne Castens, were both in Dollar General in Fruitland Friday afternoon. Authorities say there is no known connection between the two. When the victim was outside by her car, authorities say the suspect attacked her and stabbed her. I talked with the victim's aunt, Cheyenne Ramsey.
Yeah, so let me show you more. I never would have thought a Dollar General would be a place of violence, but according to this, it was back in November, but they finally found the guy, Lamar Beasley, 54. They're saying here Beasley stabbed the woman more than 40 times while she was outside the store. There's no indication that Castens knew Beasley, nor is there any evidence the two had interacted before the attack. Castens was rushed to hospital and was pronounced dead. Beasley ran away and was found inside a nearby camper where he was apprehended and taken to jail. I think it's horrible. This lady just trying to do some shopping at Dollar General, and this guy out of nowhere jumps her and basically goes ballistic on her 40 times. That's like overkill. Why would you need to ever attack someone in that way? 40 stab wounds. And unfortunately, this lady died, but now he is going to jail on a first-degree premeditated murder. Premeditated, that's interesting. We'll have to find out why it's premeditated, because the story of the attack actually sounds like it's very, in the moment. But if they're saying it's premeditated, there must be something there that tells him he had been planning to attack someone But the fact that these two, Castons nor Beasley, had ever talked to each other, have no prior history, never associated with each other, where is the premeditation here? Was he stalking her? Uh, was he going to attack just someone and she ended up being the person? I'm not sure. It doesn't say, but I can show you when they perp walked him out of the station. Here you go, Putnam County. And that's when they perp walked Beasley out of the stadium. Somewhere along the line, he lost his shirt, but that is him being perp walked. They're saying here, they did a GoFundMe for Caston. Let me have a look. Yes, here we go. So the community raised almost $9,000 for her funeral, and that means that she would be able to be laid to rest, which is lovely. And they're saying here, my name is Sean. I am starting this GoFundMe on behalf of my sister, who was tragically and senselessly killed on the afternoon of the 14th of November outside a Dollar General in the Fruitland area of South Putnam County. Our family is devastated by her sudden and unexpected passing, and we are raising funds to help cover her funeral and cremation costs. They're saying that the family is shattered by what has happened, and they're saying the suspect is in custody. They're saying nothing can ease the pain of losing Cheyenne far too soon. That is very, very sad. That's a photo of her with a small child, and there's a photo of her with a couple of colorful birds. They're saying that she used to work on boats and that she loved the water. Look at that. It looks like she was trying to feed some parrots. So it raised almost $9,000 to help with her funeral. It's really nice of the community that they did that. And lovely that she'll be laid to rest in a proper way, and the family won't have to stress too much over the financial part of it. But yeah, stabbed outside of a Dollar General. I don't know, but this guy has a hell of a background. Been in custody throughout the 1990s and early 2000s. His rap sheet includes burglary, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, armed robbery with a firearm, and sexual battery. So this guy is also a registered SO, released from prison in July after serving just over 4 years for not complying with registered offender requirements, which probably means he didn't. He probably moved. He probably moved and then didn't tell them where he moved and then registered for the new address. That'll get you on that pretty quickly. So looks like seen her and thought she will do. Almost right, almost. Maybe it was random. Maybe he just picked her up in the parking lot, possibly. Marilyn says, why is he out of prison? Well, he served his sentence for that offense and they let him out. But it sounds like he's been in jail for on and off over 30 years. 30 years. So not a first time offender. He's well known to the custody system. Sorry, let me check something here. I just want to. The capital felony was especially heinous. They're saying here on December 18, prosecutors filed a motion with the court stating their intent to seek the death penalty. The capital felony was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel. It was a homicide and was committed in cold, calculated, and premeditated manner without any pretense of moral or legal justification. Okay, we're going to have to find out more about this when he goes to trial. I would love to know why they think it's premeditated. That's something we're going to have to find out. Give me 1 sec. I'll see if I can find his jail record. 1 minute. All right, let's see if it's going to come up in our Googling. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So it's Putnam County, and it's, what's his name? Lamar Beasley. All right. Let's see if we can find out why, if there's any description in the paperwork of why they think that's premeditated, because it doesn't read as a premeditated. Oh, court. Let's have a look. Yeah, it doesn't read like a a thing like that. Here, Office of 7th Attorney. Oh, good work. Ah, sometimes we are, being that we are Australian, they won't let us on the government website, but that's okay. Okay, here. The Putnam County grand jury heard the case of Lamar Beasley. The defendant is accused of stabbing a woman more than 40 times outside of a Fruitland store on November 14, 2025. The victim died from her injuries at the hospital. The indictment was handed down on Monday morning. Beasley was charged with first-degree murder. The case was investigated by Putnam County Sheriff's Office, and the Assistant State Attorney Mark Johnson is the prosecutor assigned to the case. Yeah, I'm just trying to see why they think that it is. Why it's premeditated. There's a lot of people in the comments under the state attorney post that seem to know him, that seem to have seen him around the area. Let's have a look. I don't see a reason for it, but I just see a lot of people saying that he was well known around the area and that people like had seen him around that particular area. Where was that left? Yeah, it doesn't say why. It just says that they are seeking that death penalty in this particular case. So, Gail said, did he just want to go back to jail? You know, some people, when they spend the majority of their adult life in jail, they don't know how to work on the outside. They're so used to being institutionalized that when they get on the outside, they don't know what to do. I don't know if that's the case here, but it's an interesting theory about it. If I get more about it, I'll let you know. But that's all I have on that one right now. Wait, so I want to talk to you about a third one. It's a busy day today. We've got a lot of stories to go through. And this is from Salt Lake City, which is, I'm surprised Trish hasn't wanted to do this one. I want to take you out to, I want to think it's KSL in Salt Lake City, but maybe it's ABC4 Utah. Okay. So they're saying airport footage shows mom and abducted children board flight to Europe. They're saying this footage is newly released from the Salt Lake City International Airport, shows the moment that a Utah woman boarded an international flight with her 4 children, whom they are saying have been abducted. They're saying the woman is 35-year-old Alicia Ann Seymour, boarded a one-way flight with a stop in Amsterdam and a final destination in Croatia. Leaving from Salt Lake City International Airport, she brought her 4 children aged 11, 8, 7, and 3, with whose faces have been blurred in the footage to protect their privacy. They're saying Seymour shares partial custody of the children with the kids' father. On December 2nd, she left a voicemail for one of the 2 fathers and told him that she was in France with the children. She also said that she planned to get a permanent residence and had taken the kids because the end times are coming. Oh, no, not again. Not again. Another person from Salt Lake City who thinks the end times are upon us. Didn't we just get finished with someone who thought that was happening? Last name rhymes with Smello. The first name rhymes with, I don't know, something else. Now in jail in multiple counties, including Arizona and Idaho. Sounds like this is very similar. They're saying here, neither of the fathers of the children had consented or knew that Seymour was planning to take the children from the state or the country. Law enforcement also determined that Seymour appears to have no intention of returning to the U.S. Interesting. Kendall Seymour, the father of 3 of the children, says, we're hoping to get a state warrant turned into a federal warrant, turned into an Interpol warrant. He wants a lot of warrants. They're saying he added, hopefully the next step is I get a phone call that she's been found. Then I can fly out and find the kids. As soon as that happens, me and my fiance, we're going to drop everything and go and get them. Jeez. According to a family lawyer, Alicia Seymour could be facing significant legal action. They're saying she's chasing 4 felony counts, assuming this is the first time this has happened. And if she has some mental health problems, then she is likely not looking at any jail time at all. What I think is more likely is they get the kids back to the US, and if they share 50-50 custody, then he goes and modifies the custody so he gets the majority of it and holds the kids' passports. But they said, but first, law enforcement has to find her. If police find her and arrest her because they have an international warrant and work with the FBI, then they could detain her, and and then the USA could extradite her back to the US. Ugh, that was a long one. But have a look. So if you're in Salt Lake City Airport and on December 2, don't know, maybe randomly someone was there. Maybe you might have seen her with the children. So let's play the CCTV. Hold on, we might be able to do this better. I don't like this video player. I want to play it on this one. Yeah. This one's better, easier to control. There we go. All right. Let's watch her. Oh, wait, did that travel across? There we go. Let's start at the start. All right, so okay, rando people. There you go. Her and the 4 children in the travel way. She looks pretty relaxed. I mean, she doesn't look like she thinks the cops are going to come and get her. Interesting. Here, let me pause it here. So it doesn't look like she's all that concerned. And the fact that she called the husband, there you go. And the fact that she called the husband and just was like, hey, I'm heading to France and I ain't ever coming back with the children. She didn't seem that concerned. Kim said, a case from Utah. Who believes in end times? I know, right? Is she Mormon? I believe she is. I believe she is Mormon. If I remember reading it a little bit earlier. Let me double check. I think she is. So the mum allegedly absconded with her children over irrational fears that Salt Lake City would be destroyed in a biblical end times event. Like what? What exactly? All the salt will come back to the lake or something? I don't know. They're saying here, yeah, hold on. Let me see if I'm sure they said that she was Mormon. Hold on. Not that that's not that all Mormon people are bad people. Just seems to be there's quite a few of them that do this type of thing. I'm sure she is. I don't know. They don't explicitly state it in this one, but you know, it is Salt Lake City, and people that start spouting things about the end of the world and there's going to be like a cataclysmic event, you know, you sort of connect the dots, but hey, she might be like Hindu for all we know. Let's have a look. Here you go. Missing children, missing kids, kidnapper. Dun dun dun. I pronounce this Alicia, but I don't know. It looks like Alicia. I'm gonna say Alicia. Um, she also has another name, Ellie McKinnon. So she goes by a false name at times too. And there's the 4 children. I don't like the fact that they're named, but it came from the family, so they must be okay with it. There's an 8-year-old. It doesn't say how old that one is, but quite young, 10 years old, and not sure they've cut it off on this one too, but ranging in ages with their mum. So that's okay. It's not till summer. Is she a Chad follower? I don't know. She might be. I don't know. She's acting pretty crazy, so maybe. Montana said, "How did she get their passports?" I'm guessing being the controlling mom, like the controlling custody, she probably is the one that's allowed to have their passports. Montana said, "Yeah." So yeah, that's what I would think. Had she been in the portal, maybe that's how she got to Europe. We call them aeroplanes, but maybe she calls it a portal. You know, Lori Vallow called a cupboard a portal. So, maybe she calls an aeroplane a portal. You remember that? It was like, Chad, I was trying to contact you via the portal in the closet yesterday. How come you didn't contact me back? It's one of the greatest lines in the entire Lori Vallow thing. The fact that she was seated in a closet, hoping that Chad would connect to her in the portal, and she was mad that he didn't. And I mean, there's some things to be mad about. It's almost like when your wife wakes up and she's like, "I'm mad with you," and you're like, "Wait, what did I do?" And she's like, "You were mean to me in a dream." It's very similar to that. Very similar. Montana said there's an end time psycho in any given religion. Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, I don't know. Could be Hindu for all we know. Gayla said portals are in closets. I don't know. I think portals are in Laurie's butthole. That's what the code was. It was all sexual innuendo. So replace portal with butthole in everything they said, and you get the story of Lori Vallow. Um, Marylander says Zulema predicting earthquakes. That one's pretty good too. That text message where she's like, "There was an earthquake in Peru. Do you think it was me who caused it?" Oh my god. If it wasn't so serious and it wasn't so devastating with so many victims, it would be absolutely effing hilarious. Like you could write a comedy out of it, but unfortunately there are many victims and some children victims like we know, and therefore it's not that funny. It's very serious. Can't make fun of them. Although those two things are pretty funny. Kim said Zulema caused earthquake. She controlled the weather. Sure, in her own microwave. She's like, "Oh my god, my microwave plate is like vibrating when I put the popcorn in there. It must be me controlling the weather. Oh, there's steam and what sounds like thunder." They're like, "Calm down, Zulema. That's just the popcorn popping in the microwave. Just calm down. You're not doing anything. It's not it's not you controlling the weather. That's how popcorn is made." Yeah. So look, this lady in Europe now, possibly in Croatia. If you are in Croatia, which we don't have a lot of people who watch from that region, unfortunately, although our family is from the area, so we actually know quite a lot about Croatia. Actually, let me try find out where she might be in Croatia, because then I might be able to help you and tell you a little bit about where she might be. Where is she? Um, it's not telling me where exactly they think she might have got to, which is interesting. Just that she had that one-way flight to Amsterdam and then to Croatia. So they said that they did charge her in court. She was charged by the Salt Lake City County District Attorney with 4 counts of custodial interference to remove a child from the state. And they're saying here that a friend and co-worker of the woman, they had unable to be getting in touch with her, so they tried to contact her on November 29. So police officers went to the home in West Jordan on December 2nd to conduct a welfare check on her and her 4 children. They found the apartment door unlocked and nobody inside. That's how they figured out that she had run away with the children. And they're saying here Seymour's ex-boyfriend told police that she had recently talked about getting passports and leaving the country, saying she was worried about end times and biblical events. Okay. Okay. You know, I'm worried about biblical events too. Let me see what else we can find here about her. If this plays from Fox 13 in Utah.
West Jordan mother is facing charges after police say she kidnapped her children and flew them out of the country. It comes after the Utah Department of Public Safety issued an endangered missing advisory for the 4 children, ages 11 to 3 years old, last week. The charging documents state Alicia Seymour told one of her ex-husbands that she needed to get the children out because the end times were coming. Officers have issued a warrant for Seymour's arrest for violating custody, which is a 3rd-degree felony.
All right, let me stop this video. Let me see what else we can find about Alicia Ann Seymour and see if we can find where she might be. I was trying to see like what part of Croatia they might have gone to, but it actually doesn't tell us. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't tell us like where they think she's got to, which is interesting. You would have thought the fact that they want to find her, they would have told us where to look for her, but they're not. They're just saying that she's in Europe somewhere. So we're gonna have to just be on the lookout for her all over Europe, apparently. All right. That's not good. I'll talk to you about something else in a minute, but there was an update that just came through that it doesn't seem like a good thing. All right, 36-year-old. Oh no, that's the other lady. Let's see what else we can find about her. I'm surprised this is not a bigger story, but I guess parental interference happens quite frequently. All right, let's see if we can find what happened to these kids. No, that's not how we spell her name. All right. That's the video we watched. Let's have a look. Luggage in tow. Investigators say it was a carefully planned abduction carried out in violation of joint custody agreements, and that police say the flight marked the final step in a plan that had been quietly unfolding for weeks. So they must have seen evidence that she'd been planning this for a long time. In a message, she said she planned to seek permanent residence in Europe and had taken the children because the end times were coming. How come they only affect Utah? If the end times are coming, how come it doesn't affect Croatia? Is it somehow immune from the end times? Is it only Utah that will be destroyed? How does that work? I want to know how this works in those people's heads. They're all like, no, it's only in Utah. That's why I'm running away to Croatia. I feel like some explanation of their plans need to be told. Here's a photo of her and one of her partners and some of the kiddies, some of the ones we saw in the photo, in happier times, apparently, when she wasn't talking about end of the world. I'm just trying to find out why they won't give us a place of where she might be. Yeah, they're not giving us a location. They said here, one of the fathers of the children said, I didn't know about any of these ideas of hers until a couple of weeks ago. When someone found her TikTok account, she thinks Salt Lake City is going to be destroyed and she is trying to get the kids to safety. My only hope is that she is motivated to protect them. There were no signs of that when we were married or divorced in the last 5 years. So there you go. Authorities appear to share concerns about her mental state. According to charging documents, A no bail arrest warrant was requested after witnesses reported she had previously suffered from emotional breakdowns and hallucinations. Well, that might explain the whole end of the world and Salt Lake City being destroyed. They're saying here just that she could face serious consequences should they be able to get her back to the USA. But they're not telling us, where in Europe. They're just saying she had a flight to Amsterdam and then to Croatia. So, but she left a voicemail for one of the fathers saying she was already in France with the children. Why would you go to France? I know it's not that far from Amsterdam, but it sounds like she never went to Croatia. It sounds like she might have gone to Amsterdam and rented a car or something and then went to France, because that is not the way to Croatia. Croatia's down near Italy. It's not on the way. So that sounds like her plans or her itinerary have already changed. She's like, obviously she knew that the authorities would be able to look at her itinerary and she's lied about where she is going. Or she lied to her ex, maybe. Montana says, if there's going to be a biblical end time, we're likely all missing it. Goodbye. Yeah. Let's see. Or running to Rexburg, Idaho. That's right. So if you see this lady, if you are in Europe, we do have some people who watch the channel from Europe. If you see this woman anywhere, she probably looks a bit different to this, but if you see her and you see her tugging along behind her 4 children, here's her in that footage. If you see her, call it in to the authorities and try and find her, because there are some fathers back in the USA who would like their children to come back, and it sounds like she might need some mental health help. It doesn't seem like she's quite, in the right mind, unfortunately. All right. Next story is, I hope you all saw earlier today that Ashley Buzzard was in court today. I'm sure you all saw it, and apparently the gallery was packed, absolutely packed. So I want to show you what happened in court today. I'm going to take you to Fox 11 in LA.
Earlier today, the mother of a missing girl who was found dead pleading not guilty to her murder in a Santa Barbara courtroom. Her plea causing many to gasp or cry out, the judge calling for order. 9-year-old Melodee's remains were found early this month in rural Utah, more than 2 months after she went missing. Santa Barbara detectives say she was shot. Cartridge cases at the scene of the crime match those taken from Ashley Buzzard's home. The DA saying they will seek life without parole and not the death penalty in this case.
Maybe that's better, so that she'll have to think about this every day of her life, sitting in that cell. I think it's better. The death penalty is just the easy way out.
The judge set the start of Ashley Buzzard's trial for January 7th. The Highway Patrol says a shooting on the 60 freeway out in Jurupa Valley may be a cause of road rage.
So we're not going to have to wait that long. January 7th, only after, about a week or so from now? Sounds like we're all going to find out a lot more very quickly, unless something happens between now and then legally. But yep, she was seen in court. Yeah, I heard there was a lot of people in the gallery. Not surprising, but she has pled not guilty. I mean, I don't know what to sort of say to that, except for, should we have been expecting anything different? I think, that's not surprising. But one of the interesting things here is that when she appeared in custody for the hearing, a judge formally arraigned her on charges of first-degree murder, lying in wait. That was the special circumstance to the murder charge. I find that very interesting. And related firearms charges in the death of her daughter. I looked up what this first degree lying in wait means, and I found that really interesting. It says here, I mean, we know what the words mean, but I mean, like legally, what does it mean? And it says, hiding and ambushing someone with the premeditated intent to kill or seriously harm them, demonstrating the planning and deliberate malice needed for the first-degree murder charge, often considered an aggravating factor leading to harsher sentences. It's interesting. Concealment or ambush is a part of the charge. The killer hides or lies in wait, often unseen or unexpected. Premeditation and then surprise. The victim is attacked suddenly and unexpectedly without warning. Intent, a clear purpose to cause death or serious harm, even if the victim knows the killer's presence. Very interesting charge, that one, if you ask me. It sounds like, she was ambushed somehow. I don't know how that would work, but almost like maybe if the daughter was not facing her and she shot her from behind, could they say that was an ambush? I would say maybe, because it would be by surprise. So the kid, Melodee, wouldn't have known what her mum was going to do to her. Therefore, it happened without her seeing or her knowledge. Therefore, the murderer, her mum, is hiding or lying in wait. That's the only thing I can think of, because I don't know how, when the mum is the one that was taking her around the country, how you could hide from the child. So that's about the only thing I can come up with, is that it's because Melodee was killed with her not facing the mum. So that's sort of my thing of it. I don't know if it's true, but that's sort of what I was thinking. Yeah, I'll take you out to KSBY too, and they've got a little video about it as well. If we can play it. Oh,
I'm Crystal Bermudez.
Good work, Ping. Oh no, it did work. Wait, did that work? Yeah. No, there we go.
Here at the Santa Maria courthouse, where a Lompoc mother charged with the murder of her daughter faces a judge for the first time in the case. I was inside the courtroom as the prosecutor announced the sentence they'll be seeking.
We're entering a not guilty plea. Oh, okay. Not guilty plea is, ladies and gentlemen, is entered.
Friday's arraignment marked a first court appearance and a heavy moment for the family of 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard.
I'm a mother, I'm a grandma. How can you do that to a baby?
Melodee's paternal grandmother, Lily Dennis, was in the courtroom as Ashley Buzzard was arraigned and entered a not guilty plea to first-degree murder, a charge prosecutors say involves intent and premeditation.
You're charged in a felony complaint with first-degree murder.
The case also includes a special circumstance allegation, which can increase the severity of the sentence if proven, says Buzzard's public defender, Adrian Galvan.
The lying in wait is a special circumstance that is attached to a homicide. It's a circumstance and aggravation that enhances punishment.
Melodee's paternal uncle, Marvin Meza, shared with me Melodee lived with him and his wife for a period of time.
We actually had custody of her back in 2020, my wife and I, and she was happy. She loved life. She was a lot like her dad.
He tells me he believes the system failed Melodee.
To my knowledge, she lost her 3 times, and she went back with her every time. So the system needs to take in some human element. Why or what? Why a child should go back with the mom.
With tears in her eyes, Buzzard's eldest daughter sat in the audience alongside family. At the request of the defense, a temporary gag order was placed on law enforcement, limiting anyone with the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office from making further public statements until at least January 7th.
At the press conference, the sheriff, Bill Brown, made a couple statements. From the defense's perspective, the statements directly impacted Ashley Buzzard's presumption of innocence.
Are you joking that what he said at the press conference somehow infringed on her right to a fair trial. I don't think so. I watched that entire press conference, and I don't think he said anything untoward. I don't think he said anything like, "That bitch did it. We're gonna make her fry." I didn't see anything like that. I didn't see anything like he was like, "Yeah, we knew for sure that she was a child killer. We hunted her down, and we used every last bit of our resources to hunt down this whatever." It was just not I didn't see anything like that, and if it was they're just picking up straws here. They're trying to grasp at something to, you know, throw off the, prosecution here. They have to because the case is so strong. I don't think, you know it's very difficult for a defense attorney to really run a good defense on this one. I think they're gonna have a hard time, and that's probably why they're sort of nitpicking at anything they can find. So he needs to learn how to talk to the press. Yeah.
And the possibility of fair and impartial jurors being affected in this county.
Galvan says they'll investigate every angle from the defense side.
We will prepare any and all defenses for Ashley Buzzard.
Meanwhile, Melodee's family remains confused in the midst of grief.
The prosecution stating that they're not going to seek the death penalty. I don't understand why.
Buzzard is scheduled to return to court January 7th for a preliminary hearing setting. I'll be in the courtroom in Lompoc bringing you the latest developments on that day.
Something tells me we're going to find out about a degradation in mental health, and that is why they're not going to seek the death penalty in this particular case. The fact that they are not going to try for it, I don't think the family should be that shocked with some of the information we've already heard. And that just signals to me that we're probably going to hear something about how her mental health declined in the years or whatever. And then if they went forward with a DP case for it, I would think there would be some sort of challenge from the defense over it, and it would just delay the trial. Although, personally, I think that that's probably what they should have gone for, but I think that's why they didn't. Yeah, so there we go. Every time I see this woman, she always looks more and more white, like a ghost. Every time I see her in court, look at her, there she is in court. She always looks more and more pale, like she's losing blood out of her system or something. Like she looks so pale. It's I mean, she's in jail, maybe that's why. But yeah, there you go. That's your update for today. Pled not guilty. You heard the courtroom going, like saying all sorts of stuff to the point where they had to be told to be quiet. And I get it. I get why people were shocked. It's almost like, how can you plead not guilty to this? Yeah, they were told to keep it down. There you go. We're going to find out more. Jan 7. It's a preliminary hearing. And they said there's also a gag order, which means that no one can discuss it until that day. So we're probably not going to hear a ton out of the prosecution side of it until January 7. And that may even be extended. They may extend it past January 7 as well, which would not surprise me. They're saying here, yeah, I think that's about it from today. Calculate, yeah, there we go. Sheriff Brown, and I think this might be the comments that they're picking at. Sheriff Brown called the killing ruthless and heartless, adding that it was calculated, cold-blooded, and criminally sophisticated premeditation. Maybe that's what they were, maybe that's what the defense were getting annoyed at. So, yeah, there you go. There's your update. She's been arraigned. She's been remanded into custody. She's not going to get out. And they're saying, we're going to have to, after the one on January 7, we're going to have to wait until February 24. That is going to be the preliminary hearing. I expect the one on January 7 to be a very quick hearing. It'll be minutes. The one on February 24 may be a slightly longer hearing, but the one probably in about a week will be quite short. I don't think it'll be a big day, probably a few minutes. Rachel said, I hope they release the probable cause affidavit. I don't think they can until that gag order is lifted. So I think that means that there'll be no more information coming out for now. I want to see it too. I would like to see the wait, do I have it? I don't have the I have the charging document. I don't have the I have the charging document that details the charges against her. I don't have the affidavit. No, so we're gonna have to wait on that. The charging document doesn't say much anyway. It just lists out the charges and when she was charged and sort of what those charges entail. It doesn't give us any great insight into circumstances surrounding it. They're just sort of like, on this day, this crime was committed in this location. That's it. It doesn't really give us anything in depth. All right. So I brought you a story after the shooting in Australia at Bondi. Do you guys remember I brought you a story about a post on social media that was doing the rounds calling for people to go out and bash people on Saturday, the 27th of December? Well, today is the 27th of December, and it's sounding like there is a riot squad at the beach in Cronulla. They're saying a riot squad has descended on Cronulla Beach amid fears a planned bashing day protest could go ahead despite stern warnings from police. Now, this was the poster, if you remember, and it was like, we riot, Middle Eastern bashing day, 27th of December 2025. Spread the word, Australia. Stand the F up. The guy who made this poster was arrested a few days ago and he's been remanded into custody. Now, they actually found him, but that doesn't change the fact there are stupid people in the world who who, even though they know they shouldn't go, even though there's been warnings from police and authorities saying, do not head out to this and try and cause any trouble. There you go. Riot Squad is already out there trying to keep the peace in Cronulla. So as far as I know, so far, it's been okay. There's been no big reports of anything. I'll double check. Hold on. I'm not seeing any urgent reports of anything happening in Cronulla, thank God. Let's hope that no one, it's almost the end of the day down here. I'm hoping that means everyone's decided to go home. Let me double check. I am not seeing any big reports out of Cronulla. So the cops have got a handle on it right now. Cronulla looks very quiet. Yeah, apparently there is a lot of cops, including police on boats and watercraft, and there's cops everywhere apparently. Might be the safest place in Australia today. So yeah, there's a lot of cops trying to stamp it out. So I don't think they will be successful. It sounds like everyone has taken the message to not head out to Cronulla. Let me see if I can find an update for you. Yeah, I'm going to take you to Cronulla. I want to see if we can find the update about the guy who actually got arrested for you. So yeah, he actually got arrested for making that poster and distributing it online. And now he's been remanded into custody because the authority said he might do more things like that. So they are not very happy with him. Let's have a look. I'm going to check a news source and see if they did an update for it. for today. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Thank the Lord. Yeah, I'm just going to check one source here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything, which is good news. People have taken the warning, and they are not trying to cause trouble. So that is good news. We don't need people being that stupid. Let me see if I can find the guy that did it. There was a very stupid guy. Yeah, here he is. What's his name? Ryder Roy Shaw. Why? He's got that type of name. Let me see if we can get him. Here you go. Alleged racial hatred event organizer Ryder Shaw refused bail. 20-year-old man has been refused bail after allegedly planning a racial hatred attack at Cronulla Beach. Ryder Shaw allegedly used a TikTok post in a bid to organize the event at Cronulla Beach. They're saying he has been remanded into custody, will face court again in February of 2026. And they're saying that the judge, he appeared from custody on Monday in the Central Coast Bail Court wearing a plain t-shirt and showed no emotion during a 45-minute bail hearing. And they're saying here the magistrate told the court the 20-year-old had no history of violence, but the charges were serious. The magistrate said, I don't know whether those young men who killed all those people in Bondi had a record either. When you've got young people like this inciting people to violence because of race or religion, it's repulsive. The magistrate told the court Mr. Shaw posed a risk of endangering the safety of individuals in the community, especially because there was a date and a place set for the alleged planned riot. She said, it's not just a random declaration to kill everybody or something. It actually sets down a date and a place. In my view, he is an unacceptable risk. If it hadn't been so definite, it may have been mad ranting and raving, but it's not. Magistrate Quinn told the court Mr. Shaw was a Muslim hater. There you go. And she also said Mr. Shaw should realize the man who saved a lot of people himself was a Muslim. This man appears to be a Muslim hater by text. So he's been remanded into custody. It looks like he's trying to get people to show up to Cronulla. Didn't work. The police have sort of smothered the area today to stop it getting started. And it's good news. It sounds like everyone has succeeded in keeping everyone cool and level-headed. So sounds like everyone's gone home, chilled out, enjoying their sort of post-Christmas days. And if you don't, you can meet these people in this truck. They will definitely want to have a chat with you if you decide to kick up anything at Cronulla. So it sounds like those people, if you want to get arrested, if you want to go into jail before New Year's Eve, go to Cronulla and do something dumb. If you want to enjoy your New Year's Eve, hang out and just be very chill. All right, what else? We've got other stories that I can bring to you. We've got a bunch of different stuff. We could do this one. All right, I want to take you out to Kentucky, because why not? Because Kentucky is a lot of fun, right? Let's take you out to our friends in Kentucky, where another female teacher, this is also almost becoming a trend now. Female teacher arrested for having sexual conversations with student, and apparently she cried in court today. So let me do that for you.
Pontoon, maybe? Good morning. Hang on just a second. I don't have your file yet.
She may be right. I think she was in the same cell.
Okay. Before we address your case, I want to make sure you understand your constitutional rights. First of all, the right to remain silent. You don't have to talk to anybody today. This gentleman's with the PD's office, Public Defender's office. He's here to help you if you have any questions. We're going to enter a plea, most likely of not guilty. figure out your next court date, figure out your attorney situation. You do have felony charges, so you have a right to a preliminary hearing before a judge to determine if that crime was committed and committed by you. If you remain in custody, that hearing has to be held within 10 days of today, your arraignment. If you get out of custody, it has to be held within 20 days of your arraignment. On down the road, you have the right to a trial and a right to appeal. But for today, we're going to enter that not guilty plea, figure out if you want to hire your own attorney, if you qualify for a public defender, figure out your bond, and figure out your next court date. Okay? Okay, hang on one second. You are charged with procuring or promoting use of a minor by electronic means. It's a C felony. I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty to that charge. Right now, the bond is $100,000 full cash to HIP if posted with no social media. And you say you want to hire your own attorney. Okay.
Judge, I apologize.
Okay.
I believe this was correct, Judge?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to enter an appearance in the case at this point in time, at least for the purposes of arraignment only, with the court's permission.
Okay.
Okay. Cindy, I'm going to enter a plea for you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Judge, we're going to admit her identity, waive formal reading of the charges, reserve the right to file any appropriate motions at a later time, and enter the plea of not guilty.
All right. We'll enter that plea of not guilty. Note you, at least for today's purposes, Mr. Miller, the bond is $100,000 full cash to HIP if posted. She is a low one.
Could we address the bond issue, Judge?
Of course.
She's been a long-time resident here, Judge, her entire life. She owns property here in town. She has 2 children here in town. She's married. She has her family, her sister, and they all are here. Slight risk she is not. She has one charge back about 2006 or 8, a traffic violation. That's the only charge that I know of that she had that represented her back then. So that's the only charge I know at this point. I realize that the charges are serious, but $100,000, Judge, is question she could not possibly make that. I would suggest, if at all possible, 10%. A lesser amount or that amount.
All right, Ms. Southern.
Your Honor, based on the nature of the allegations, the county would strongly object to a bond reduction at this juncture. We are asking for there to be a written no contact order, and that would be no contact with the juvenile victim, no contact with the place of violation, no contact with any minor children, no social media or electronic devices, and no contact with any JCPS property. Our position, as I said, is that given the facts and circumstances as set forth in the the uniform citation, that this bond is completely appropriate. And we're not disagreeing with Mr. Miller that her prior record consists of a 2008 DUI, but nonetheless.
So this is a court hearing for her initial court hearing. They're arguing whether her bond should be reduced. But when I tell you what she's done, so she was basically sending sexual contact to a student, and it's a minor. They're saying here that the arrest citation includes that investigators obtained screenshots and video from the incident which showed Graff and the student talking about oral sex. And they're saying here she was also charged with 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance. They found a pill container inside her purse that contained what they thought to be hydrocodone or Adderall. They're saying here basically that the reason that she's been in custody is because she breached her position of trust and because the offense is acting against children.
These allegations are extremely serious. There are allegations of certainly contact.
I apologize, was I not correct that the traffic violation was like in 2006 or 8? It's like 15 or 20 years old, 15 years old.
I said I agreed with you.
Oh, I apologize.
Yes.
I didn't understand.
But I said I agreed that there was a 2008 DUI, yes.
I'm sorry.
The allegations here are certainly extremely serious, extremely concerning, related to the alleged contact with the juvenile in question, and then certainly of additional concern are the allegations that there were then not just contact that was electronic in nature, but then arrangements being made to meet the juvenile, and looks like there were actual attempts of picking up that juvenile from his residence, which is where the citation indicates that that's where she was apprehended. So as I said, our position is that this bond is appropriate and should not be changed in any way.
All right, Ms. Graff, I am going to leave the bond where it is, 100,000 full cash to HIP with no social media and absolutely no contact with the victim in this case. No messages through a third party, no email, snail mail, nothing like that. All right?
Judge, could I?
So she was denied that bond reduction that her attorney was seeking to get a 10% bond. They also ask if it can be real estate, but again, they decline that, saying it must be a full cash bond. So if she wants to get out of jail, she has to give up $100,000 in cash to the bond agency, to HIP. And I don't think she's going to do that. Like her attorney says, she cannot afford that, and that it's not something that she's able to get together. She doesn't have $100,000 to do it. So I want to take you out and talk to you more about it, because it's a fascinating thing that we're starting to see a lot more females. The amount of female teachers that have been picked up over the last 10 to 15 years is extraordinary. It's extraordinary how many females we've been picked up for these type of crimes. You know, we often see men picked up, and it's often the younger kids. We often see the teachers, and they're picked up for that adolescent age, always in that sort of teenage years. Somehow they blur the reality that it's okay because they're a teenager, and then they end up like this woman in court for what they've done. It's really a strange sort of not increase, but it's becoming a lot more public. We're seeing a lot more of it, and I don't know if we know why it's becoming such sort of like a trend. But yeah, I will take you out here. JCPS elementary teacher for alleged sexual conversations with student. This is from the Louisville Metro Police detectives, and they were contacted by Jefferson County Public Schools Police after Sydney Grass was reported to engage in sexual conversations with a student during an NTI day on December 15. They're saying that she is a 5th grade teacher at Simra Elementary School. They say LMPD detectives reviewed the conversations between Graff and the student, which included discussions of oral stuff with the student. According to police, Graff planned to meet up with the student later, but was arrested while picking him up near his home. Graff will be reassigned to a position that won't allow her to have contact with students during the investigation. She was charged with procuring or promoting the use of a minor by electronic means, and she has a $100,000 bond for her to get out of jail. Pretty brutal. She's not getting out of jail. I doubt she has $100,000 where she can do that. But yeah. Let me take you out here to this one here, WDRB. If I can play this.
A JCPS teacher pled not guilty this morning to having sexual conversations with a 5th grader. Sydney Gaff's bond was set at $100,000 cash. JCPS says Graff is a 5th grade teacher at Smyrna Elementary. Police say she planned to meet up with the student on December 15th during NTI. They arrested Graff while she was picking the student up near his home. JCPS says Graff will be reassigned to a position that won't allow her to have contact with students during this investigation. She's charged with procuring or promoting the use of a minor by electronic means.
There you go. There you go. I'm fascinated by the female teacher thing that we're seeing so many of them. I think this year alone, I've done about 30 or so of them throughout the world. England, Australia, the USA, Canada, Europe. There's been a lot, and it's been a sharp uptick for the women. It's been a sharp uptick for the women. What age is fifth grade? Fifth grade, I think it's like 9 or 10 or something like that. This one's a little younger, but I've seen a lot of the female teachers in that teenage years for some reason. Oh, okay. Thanks, Kathy. Kathy says there was another one in Sevier County in Tennessee. Her name is Ashley Palmer. And there was another one. She was fired after a statutory R words and sexual exploitation charge levied against her. They're saying she was suspended, then dismissed. And yeah, 2 counts of statutory R word by an authority figure, 2 counts of aggravated sexual exploitation. They're saying here that the district was made aware of allegations of inappropriate activity between Palmer and a student on Thursday and referred the matter to law enforcement, leading to her arrest. Let's play this one.
In Sevier County, a teacher accused of inappropriate activity with a student is now fired. The assistant superintendent, Tony Ogle, tells us Ashley Palmer was given charges of dismissal yesterday. Fired. This comes after she was arrested and suspended Friday. Palmer charged with statutory rape and sexual exploitation of a minor. Sevier County Schools says her suspension and dismissal are being reported to the state board. Palmer was an 8th grade teacher at Sevier County Junior High.
He was known by everybody.
Jim Buzowski was more than a pastor.
There you go. So another one. I really think there needs to be a study done on females who do this, because we're seeing so many of them be arrested and charged over it. Now, 30 years ago, you just didn't hear about female teachers doing this, more about the male teachers, and they were often the ones who were charged and publicly named and that type of thing. But I don't see as many males now. It's a huge swing towards the female side, and the fact that we just get so many of them, this happens almost weekly, that there is a female teacher who is charged with doing something with a student, not always a male as well. We read one, I think, a couple of months ago where it was a female teacher who was doing it to a female student. So there you go. Hey Sally, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, it's not Sally, it's Nanalana. Hey Nanalana. Yeah, so there you go. A lot of crazy stories in the school system. Got to be very careful where you send your kids. I was trying to see if there was anything else about the first one we talked about. I don't have too much more about the first one. Apparently, we'll know more when she gets to her next hearing, which is not due until January of 2026. That is Sydney Graff. I'll just check one other place for Sydney. Grand jury's going to hear the case, apparently, according to WLKY. They're saying here a grand jury will hear the case of a Jefferson County public school teacher accused of having a sexual conversation with a 5th grade student during an online learning day. Sydney Graff is charged with procuring or promoting the use of a minor by electronic means. And they're saying here her arrest slip says she admitted to having the conversations with the boy. JCPS confirmed Graff is a math teacher at the elementary school, and that she was set to appear in court on Monday, but her case has been waived straight through to a grand jury appearance. Her next court date for that grand jury is January 26th. So yeah, later on in January, we'll hear more about that first lady, Sydney Graff. So they're going to go to a grand jury. I'm guessing that is to determine whether there is enough evidence there to proceed to a trial. So we're going to have to wait on that one. Montana said, have they ever studied why any teacher would do this to a student? I'm not sure. I'm sure there's been studies done on male teachers, but I don't know about female teachers. I would assume that there would be one on male ones. Guys, give me one sec. Here we go. I just want to clean up our dashboard here. We've got far too many things open. We cover far too many stories and things like that. Hold on. Okay. We end up with like 120 things open on my tabs here. All right, we did that one. All right. So I brought you the ones about the teachers. I'm trying to get you all caught up in your true crime for today. Let me see if I've got this one. All right. I'm going to take you out to Delaware County, which is not one we do in Pennsylvania, but we occasionally go out there. I'm going to see if we can do this.
Well, tonight, a Delaware County woman now charged with murder of her 23-year-old daughter. 57-year-old Diana Gravola is charged with homicide. Police say she stabbed her daughter to death inside their home along the 200 block of South Bishop Avenue yesterday morning. The girl's father found that gruesome scene when he arrived home from working an overnight shift. Gravola is also facing aggravated cruelty to animal charges for allegedly stabbing the family dog. Tonight, she is in jail being held without bail.
That one didn't play very well, but I'll tell you what it's about. A Delaware County woman has been charged with murder for allegedly stabbing her own daughter to death inside their home. Diana Gravola, 57, is charged with first-degree murder, third-degree murder, criminal homicide, and possession of an instrument of crime. The crime was discovered around 6:30 a.m. Tuesday in the 200 block of South Bishop Avenue in the Sakane section of Upper Darby Township. Investigators say the victim's father, who is also Gravola's husband, was working an overnight shift. He came home, discovered the crime scene, and called 911. However, police say his 23-year-old daughter was already dead by that point. The motive for the killing was not immediately known. Gravola is also charged with cruelty to animals for allegedly stabbing the family dog, which is now being treated by a veterinarian for its wounds. She is being held in jail without bond at this time. And I'm just going to see if we can find more about her daughter. Hold on a sec. Yep, they're saying here a woman has been charged with the brutal stabbing murder of her daughter. They're saying she attacked her own daughter, Danielle, and attacked the family's dog. The stabbing occurred on December 23 at a home on South Bishop Avenue. The father of the victim, came home from an overnight shift and discovered the crime scene. The man found his wife naked, covered in blood, and holding a knife. Okay. Why was she naked? They say she then allegedly confessed to him that she stabbed our daughter while also mentioning that she harmed the dog. Police reported that Gravola resisted arrest and was subdued with wrist restraints. She allegedly expressed regret, saying, "Sorry, I should have stabbed myself first." Emergency medical personnel attempted to save Danielle, who suffered multiple lacerations, but she was pronounced dead at 7:07 a.m. The family's dog was found with multiple abdominal cuts. It has thankfully survived and received veterinary care. Diane Gravola faces charges that I told you before. She's being held without bail at the George W. Hill Correctional Facility. She's scheduled to appear in court on January 6th. What the hell? I want to know why she was found naked. I want to know why that happened. Let's see if we can find out. Yeah, when police arrived to the home, Gravola was naked, covered in blood, and displayed superficial lacerations to her body that were later determined to be self-inflicted. Police said she resisted officers' commands and therefore was forcibly secured into wrist restraints. While secured, she stated to the officer, "Sorry, I should have stabbed myself first." They're saying here the daughter who died, Danielle, had suffered lacerations to her face, chest, legs, and back. All life-saving measures were exhausted, and she was pronounced dead. Crazy. I'd like to know more about what happened here. They're saying here the father walked into his daughter's bedroom, observed her lying on her back with her eyes open. He called her name several times, but she was unresponsive. He then returned to his wife in the living room and called 911. The father told detectives that while he was calling 911, his wife stated that she did not want to live anymore and she began to stab herself in the chest. The 911 operator told him to flee, and as he did, he saw her throw the knife onto the living room floor near the television stand. He stated that his wife stripped naked and he could hear her breaking items in the kitchen until police arrived. Following obtaining a search warrant, police recovered one large stainless steel knife with a black handle in the living room, which appeared to have blood on it. Okay, there you go. So this woman, I'll show you her photo. Diane. This is her. I don't know why she would do this, but I don't know. Hey, my friend. Quiet Observer, thank you so much for the super chat. That is very kind of you. The people who support this channel are very, very generous, very kind, like you, and it means a lot. It really does. It's been a tough year. It really has. So I appreciate it. It's very generous of you. I hope you have a great holidays, my friend. And thanks for being here all year through the different things we've done. It's very kind. Thank you very much. Gayla says she sounds like she needs mental health help. I don't know. She needs something. I don't know. Is stripping naked and like, what does that got to do with anything? She's like, if I'm naked, they'll never take me alive. I find that strange. Diane Gravola. I don't know why she stripped naked after she killed the daughter. I don't get it. It sounds like, yeah, maybe having a mental break. But we can't blame everything on a mental break. Sometimes people just do evil things. And maybe that's what happened here. And she was trying to make it look like a mental break by stripping naked. And you know what makes me think she was making it look like she was having mental illness, but she wasn't? The fact that the wounds to herself were superficial. People who are suffering from a mental break will hurt themselves, but they won't be superficial. They will actually do it because they are not in the right state of mind. The fact that they're only superficial wounds and they didn't need a lot of treatment, no stitches, anything like that, that tells me that she's not really having a mental break and that she probably snapped, hurt the daughter, realized what she'd done, and then tried to feign mental illness. Because, yeah, people suffering from a mental break, they'll actually do it. And they just won't care about the consequences. They will actually hurt themselves. The fact that she kind of like nicked herself, and I bet you if we get the medical report, it'll say that there's hesitation wounds. And if they can see that on the medical report from her, all the photographs they took of her injuries, I guarantee you she was faking it. Because people who are having a mental break don't do hesitation wounds. They will just do it. So a hesitation wound is like where someone goes to cut themselves and then does it. So you'll get like one that's very light, and then you'll get one that's a little bit deeper. they show someone who's in the correct mind and knows it'll hurt. So yeah, I reckon she's talking a bit. She's just not actually being mentally ill. Kathy Lynch said, had there be problems in the home before? I don't know. It doesn't say. Montana said she's too cowardly to hurt herself. Exactly. And that tells me I doubt she would be able to get away with a mental health claim during court. Let's see. I want to see if we can find anything else about her. Her name is Diane Gravola. And then we'll look up her daughter, Danielle. Poor daughter, hey. 23rd, so 2 days before Christmas. It seems like these type of things don't stop for anyone. Is that the daughter? Jane. Apparently she had a sister called Jane that also died. All right, let's look it up. Danielle. Let me see if I can find the daughter. I can't find it. I wish I could find a photo of the daughter, but I can't seem to find one. Can't seem to find anything on the daughter, but I can on the mum. According to another source here, greeted by the dog. Oh, listen to this. When the dad got home and he walked through the front door from the night shift, he was greeted by the dog. He bent down to pet the dog and he got blood all over his clothes because the dog was injured. Even though the dog had been stabbed in its abdomen multiple times, the dog still came to its dad and tried to greet him when he came home. That is one of the saddest things I've ever read. My God, the dog was still so loyal when the man came home that he was like, "Hi, I'm glad to see you. Even though I've been stabbed by, the lady in the house, I'm still coming to see you at the front door." That is one of the saddest things I've ever read on this channel. I'm glad the dog survived. Apparently the dog did survive. So after that happened, the man then noticed his wife. She was allegedly sitting on a couch in the living room holding a knife. And then apparently the wife said, "I stabbed our daughter." She also then mentioned that she hurt the dog, and then the dog was found to have cuts on its abdomen. After that, the man went to his daughter's bedroom and found her deceased in her bed. Wow, I feel, yeah, that's really sad. That is really, really sad. That's one of the craziest things I've read about an animal. So loyal and was like, you know, I still want to be happy when you come home. That's really, really. I hope the dog goes to a better place now. Let me see. I really want to find if we can find the daughter. You would think she would have to have a like an obituary. Let's see. Danielle Gravola. No, I can't really find an obituary for her. It doesn't seem like there is one, or at least not public as of yet. Yeah, unfortunately, no, I can't find anything about Daniela or Danielle. All right, hold on, give me 1 minute. Hold on, guys.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Here. I don't have it. It's right here. Good.
He's like,
Hey.
fine. I got another toy.
Ah, we're muted. Damn it. I was saying that we found Danielle Gravola here, and this is her, and it actually comes from Derby. This is Upper Derby High School. This is exactly where the incident took place. And then I was showing you, this is a video here.
Gonna
This is
help
the
you.
family dog. I'm pretty sure this would be the same dog that the one that is in the one that got stabbed in the thing. So I'm guessing that, yeah, that's the animal. How sad. This little guy here on the screen. So yeah, that's her daughter. So we were able to track it down, and that's the unfortunate puppy dog who got stabbed. So these are a little old. You can see 2014. So she was probably just a teenager, maybe a teenager at the time. Wait, how old was she? 23, right? Yeah, 23. So she would have been about 13 years old in this photo. So it's about 10 years old. So she would have been about 13, 12, 13 or something in this photo, which, yeah, that matches. And then, yeah, the dog. And then there's another photo of her here. This is in 2016. She would have been like 15, 16 in this photo, which I'd say matches what we're seeing. But yeah, that sounds like Danielle Gravola. And I that's probably the puppy dog too. How sad. And yeah, there he is. Poor dog.
Hey, boy.
Faithful pet. It does look like a nice dog. There he is. He's trying to get the bone. Huh. So I'm glad he survived. Unfortunately, this young lady did not. Mum killed her. So, yeah, she's 23. So this was when she was a teenager. Unfortunately, that's all we can find of her. I looked her up online and I can't find anything else about her. She's not online that much, unfortunately. She looks like she's big into her anime. These are some photos, but this one she was very young. These are 2015. She would have been 14, something like that. 13. So a bunch of photos of Danielle when she was a young girl. She likes her butterflies, apparently. Yeah. Lives in Springfield Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Oh no, she checked in there. Wherever that is. Springfield Township, Delaware. Where is that? It's in Philadelphia. I'm just trying to find out how far away that is. Okay. It's near Media and Drexel Hill in PA. Okay, so she may have visited that area because yeah, in her profile it lists the actual place where this took place, Derby. So there you go. Unfortunately, her mother killed her. So her mother's killed her only daughter, and yeah, how awful, really sad. Rachel said, just so senseless and her own mum. Right. Not only that, killed her, like tried to kill the pet. There's the mum. I think they look quite similar when you look at the photo and you look at the daughter. I think we did find the right person because the mum doesn't look that obviously looks older, but they look very similar. Similar face and facial structure and things like that. So yeah, killed her in bed. Why? I don't know if we'll ever know unless the mum says something. But yeah, let me have another look if I can. What's the dad's name? Did they say what the dad's name was? Is his name John? I wonder if his name is John. Yeah, it is. It is. The dad's name is John. Okay, I found the dad too. And he's from Derby as well. His dad, this is John, the guy who walked into the home to find his wife doing strange stuff and then stripping off naked and then found his daughter dead in the bed. Here he is right here. So that is his dad, and there's a photo of his daughter. 7 hours ago. Yeah, he writes 7 hours ago, photo of his daughter. And everyone's saying, I'm sorry for your loss, John. So we definitely found the right person. That's really sad, John. We are very sorry for your loss. Can't imagine what that must be like to have to go through that. It's really awful. I hope everyone in the community of Derby and further give John a lot of help, a lot of love, and I hope the community puts their arms around him because he's just lost his loving daughter, you see in the photo, and he's lost his wife because she's in jail. So the guy's whole entire world has disintegrated. I hope everyone helps out John Gravola. There he is. He posted posted a photo of his daughter only 7 hours ago. And there's Mr. John there. So this is a photo he wanted to post of her in memory. Yeah, the dad will have the dog. Yeah. But yeah, that's him on Facebook. Did he post anything else? Last time he used his Facebook was in 2016. And then he posted 7 hours ago of his daughter. Yeah, it's awful. Yeah, everyone's saying they're sorry for your loss and things like that. And that's Danielle there. I'm glad we tracked him down so we could show you who the people are and who the dad is and the daughter and stuff. Really, really sad. They should be having a great Christmas. Instead, they're not. They're having one of the most painful periods of time you could ever imagine. There's a good photo of Mr. John. There he says, having a good night. Back in a different part in time when he was not going through his daughter being killed by her own mother. He looks like a nice guy. Typical Midwesty type guy. Sounds like a good dude. Let's see if we can find anything else. He posts a lot of things about tests on here. Let's see his photos, Mr. John. Sounds like he has a lot of like family photos and good party on Saturday plus a birthday party. Sounds like happier times. Let's see. Just doing karaoke and stuff apparently. Friends of his. But yeah, there you go. The last photo he posted was of his daughter. Don't think they've figured out anything about the mum yet. Gayla said if the video of the dog was 10 years old, then the dog did well to survive. Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's a different dog. Maybe they've got a different one now. But yeah, that's a cute photo of the daughter. That's a really nice one. What is she wearing? A UPS hoodie. Maybe dad worked for UPS at one point. All right. What time is it? 5:30. Give me 1 sec. All right, my ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to wrap up for the night. Hey, I want to really thank my friend, the Quiet Observer. Thank you so much for the super chat. It means a lot. It means a ton. I can tell you that that YouTube issue we've had for a couple of months, um, when we got our paycheck for this month, I'll be honest with you guys, we get like our from our ad revenue and or super chats and memberships and things like that. This month it was 35% of what we normally get. So we normally get a certain amount, and this month for the first time in 2 years it was missing 65% of what we normally get. So it's really sad. Really annoying. What? 1754 for you. Oh, because of the stuff they take from it? That's okay. I appreciate it. It's very kind of the Quiet Observer. One day we'll be free of the YouTube the YouTube hierarchy. Look, they provide the platform and they provide the bandwidth and the servers and the everything. The platform fees and stuff like that, unfortunately. It's just, we're using their website. So it has to be paid for somehow, I guess, as annoying as it is to the creators. What a ripoff. It was. I can tell you when we got our check last month, I was very surprised. I was like, what the hell? But that's the new YouTube, unfortunately. Now that they've tweaked all the ad revenue and all that, the small creators got absolutely effed over with the changes, unfortunately. Big creators may not notice, but the small creators may notice a lot. Thank you. I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. I try to. Hopefully we can do some more early shows for people. More early shows for people. Oh, what is the time? 17:54. 5:54. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I thought you meant like that was the amount I'd get from it. You might not be far off though. All right. I love you all. I'll be back tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Friday, Saturday. I can't remember the day. Today's Saturday for us. Tomorrow will be Sunday for me, but Saturday for some of you guys. I'll be back. We'll have fun on Saturday night. Hopefully, we'll be back on early because me and Mrs. Ping, we've been having building meetings and we've been having we put all the Kit Kats out today and we're like, well, how do we build this thing? And we've got to melt chocolate and stuff. So we are in our planning phase for the Kit Kat cabin. So you can watch me and her try and make a Kit Kat cabin. I don't know how that's going to go. She's the smart one. I just want to eat the chocolate. We'll see how that goes. Maybe tomorrow. Mrs. Ping, are we doing the Kit Kat cabin tomorrow or a different day? Did you want to print out that thing first, though? Or are you just going to have a go at it? Okay. Apparently, there's like a design pamphlet that you need to print out so you can do the windows and the doors and stuff because you have to pipe it and you have to pipe it onto a design and then let it cool and then you glue it to the house. So, you can do my drawings for you? Okay. Gayla said, don't let Mrs. Ping sample any yet. She's got other things to eat. Oh, actually, Mrs. Ping, can you give me that pudding thing? Yeah, the Darrell Lee. So I got one of my favorite treats for Christmas, and I don't know in America if you have these, but I thought I'd show it to you because I think it's an Australian thing. All right. So it's this, and it is a Christmas pudding made out of chocolate, and inside of it is soft nougat. I don't know if you guys have these, but they're like I don't know how to explain it. They're made from Dara Lee chocolate and they're really nice. But they got nougat, soft nougat on the inside. Here, I'll show you the box. Yeah. So they're like Christmas pudding. Oh. There we go. Go into focus, you silly thing. There you go. And they got soft nougat on the inside, and they're like really nice, really nice. So, and they're an Australian thing. So I love these things. They're really tasty. 100% Australian made. So make yourself full screen. Okay. You know, we need to be able to like adjust the windows. Can we maximize? Oh, there we go. All right. There we go. There you go. There you go. Christmas pudding. Christmas pudding and there you go. You guys can see it. Like a Milky Way? I don't think it's like a Milky Way. I don't think it's like that. It's more like I don't know. It's like nougat. It's like nougat on the inside. So whatever nougat is. So there we go. I wish we could do that like halfway, but we can't. There's no way to make that happen. Like this? No, see? Like that? No. I don't mind this one, but if it could be bigger. But there's no way to adjust the screens. Like there's no way for me to adjust, like I can't pull on the window and make it like a custom size. I really would like that so that I could make it a bit larger. I actually don't mind this screen when it's like this, but a lot of people in the chat don't like it. But I actually like this one because you can see more of the background on the photos and things like that. So I actually like this view. Woman of Steel said, I'm going to watch on the Mac. The screen is huge. No phone for this party. All right. You've never seen them before? So can we go further? Mutes, visual effects, edit my... Yeah, we can't move it around. So I wish I could drag the window and make it go up the top. But we're not able to do it on StreamYard, unfortunately. Chocolate, all the pink and white stuff. It's chocolate on the outside. Wait, maybe I can show you what it looks like. Hold on. Daryl Lee. Maybe I can show you what it looks like. Yeah, here we go. There's a photo of it. See, it's got like all this like really white fluffy nougat on the inside of it. So it's got like a chocolate casing that looks like a pudding, and then on the inside it's got this like white fluffy sticky nougat. So yeah, it's like a treat we get at Christmas, and they do one for Easter too, but they're the only 2 times of the year that you can get them. So Ping got one as a Christmas gift. Ping got one, and I will eat it at some point. Yeah, there you go. All right. Hey, I love you all. Love you all. All my viewers are amazing. Well, the ones who turn up in chat are my favorite people. The people who watch on the replay crew, I still like, but I would prefer if people came to the chat and hang out with us for the live show. I miss a lot of the people who don't bother coming to the live show and only watch on the replay now. I've seen so many people that are like, oh, I don't have time anymore to watch live. I just watch on the replay. I'm very appreciative, but I want to make the chat more and more people. I want to make less comments after the show, under the video, and more people in the live chat so we can have more fun. Do you like their licorice? I like licorice, but as I've gotten older, I've eaten less and less of it. It's not something I eat a lot of anymore. Like I used to when I was a kid. I used to like licorice and used to eat it quite frequently, but I don't eat a lot of like candy. I'm not a candy person. I don't eat a lot of it. I eat, in an entire year, I might eat 1 pack of candy. I just don't eat a lot of it. Woman is still said, yes, I will. All right. I love you all. By the way, thanks to our friend, the Quiet Observer. Thank you for donating to the show. You know, it takes a lot of people's donations throughout the month to end up funding the show each month. So I appreciate it. It's very kind. Very kind. All right. Have fun out there. 6 o'clock means I can go. We did a 2-hour show tonight. Bye. Good night. See you later. See you tomorrow. Bye.